we've isolated those, essentially those applications. So how do we get those applications into the new environment? So let's look at some migration paths here. So the first one, and obviously we want to be over here in this upper right-hand quadrant here that are modernized apps and are running in the cloud. That's the goal. That's going to get your best bang for the buck. And if you go this, what I'll call this traditional application and just move them to the cloud, what I've heard referred to as lift to shift, picking up VMs from a data center and dumping them into the cloud. And if we just live like that, it'd probably be better if we just stayed in the data center. I mean, the costs for running those applications in the cloud are probably going to exceed the value you're going to achieve. I mean, you may get some flexibility and whatnot and shift some of your costs. But at the end of the day, this isn't a great approach. It's going to cost you more. I mean, we want to get up into this upper right-hand quadrant. One of the other things we can do is once we get there, we can do a little bit of optimization. Great, gets us a little closer to the right here, but still not where we want to be. The next approach here is, this is, if we had all the money and all the time in the world, this is what I would say, the rebuild approach. Just take those applications, start over, and get it into the cloud the right way. But realistically, this is not going to fly. I mean, this is an extremely time-sensitive operation. It's going to take a lot of time, a lot of energy. It's going to divert everything that you're doing and from your business, creating new features and new apps, and focus it and just getting those old apps there. And at the end, really isn't feasible. But in an ideal world, that's where we'd want to go. What I think the best approach here is what I call modernize in place. And I'll talk a little bit about this in a second here. But essentially what it is wherever your apps are running now, whether it be in a cloud provider or in a data center, we want to start by modernizing them. So converting them from VMs into containers and deploying them into essentially the same cloud platform that we would do in the future state. And we can take that time. We're not as crunched on time as for this, especially if we're leveraging, a data center. I mean, when we buy servers and they have a life cycle for how long they're in service for. So you can leverage that lifespan to go in and, prioritize apps that we've identified to move and that are running short on some of the hardware refresh cycles, and do those first. And then we can essentially line them up so that they fall in, and as the hardware comes off, we can then migrate them to the cloud. Another option here is an interesting product where essentially it's a automatic migration process for VM to containers. And this really will accelerate your journey to the cloud and get you there very, very quickly. It works actually pretty well. So it's Anthos Migrate is the name of the tool. It used to be called Velostrada, if you've heard that term as well, but it's essentially a application stack that will go in and convert VMs into containers.